Ban Tuong Min Dang No Luke. Kong, Ban Dang by Baomon Boi and Hum Loi Dao Tong Hin. For six Doi Quen Nai Dang and Tam Dong Din Ban Veo Quan Tai. Hey Zem Den Quoi, Viet Sai Bay Thursday Base Tat Nat Moi Ao Tuong Qua Ban. Su that la, 99% and hung could dang gao that v giak motn tai nguai kia du la and hung sai zak kong han dang tu dao mo chan min moi gay. Kong 5 v ho thiu von, kong 5 v ti truong sup du, vot sang kong 5 v ho sin are de la ko that bai. Ko Thursday tuak dot di sin men va suang gip qua ban kong mang gun jiao he fo trong suc man, no den trong su tin lang den ron nuoi, and nap nai trong and hung han dong ko vi vo hai not ma ban lam trong vo tuk moi ben min tuk jiak va moi dem den nam math. Ban tuong min dang song tron ven. Kong, ban dang by Baomon Boi and hung con dao lam tong hin. Vong Nguyen FK02 Men Chow Kui 6 Va Kak Ban. Truak Kai Chung Ta Kung Now BOC Tran Su That Dam Mao Ma Kong MOTAI Trong So Kak Ban Muon Doi Dai Nai, Hey Dan Ra Dung MOTGA Danan Nut Dang KY Ken. Du Kong Chi La Su Ung Ho Vo Gia De Ken Ko Dong Luke Teep Tuc Mang Den and Hung Gok Nin Gai Gok Not. Ma con la ban cam ket dao tien qua chin ban trong vik dung cam doi mat voi su that ton nan nai. Tua kong dung day de rao jong and hung dao ly ri tien he ho kao hu sao rong. Tua ku cho ban ne bang mao va noak mat qua mot ku de tung o dui day sao qua tsai ho du, noi ma on sang qua tam vong by nut chung hon tong. De ko mot thoi john dai, tua chin tuk by dang zut. Koi tsai goi la fong du din chow ma ban and tung kio han tu hao. Tre niyum du jong het nu vik ban dang tu tu chet dui tren can. Moi sang mo mat ra doi voi toi la motcuc hin tan bao, non luong kan kiet den muc vik hit do kung. Tero na nong nak, dao oc dac quan lai nu mot by bun lay rac roy, va moi kuhoch tsong vik du dam sam veo ngo cut bitak. Toi vung vei trong mot vong lap no nop day tuet vong, tuk thou dem ke kuak and hung Thursday vo nia. Sang lo let tuk de voi doi mat lo du, song vat vo qua gay nu emoticon zombie mat nail, roy lai tu tsao xe luong tom min veo ban dam. Luke du, tua tuk su hong lon tuong min de mak phi emoticon ben nan wai now du, poke ban and the how tom tun tri den kiet kv gan vac and hung su men qua 6 die. And hung su that luon la Thursday tat tang veo mat chung ta emoti catch dao don na. Kai dung cam soy lai min veo guang, tua ke dang nan ra min de by dan guc kong phi boi mot bien ko long troi lo dat now, ma by vo mom boi chin and hung Thursday rac roy no noi na, and hung 6 doi quen. Dung nai tho nam tuong 6 doi quen la and hung quiet din 6 mo nu zak ba lo di phut shuyen luke jia hey chat emoti hop dong tru du. No han mon, vun vat va tong hin den muc ban kong bao geo them de mat toy. No chi la emotit sai vut mon hin vo tuk luke nu adem, la koan kok ban net ming bon got tam de duong hoa hok veo ming thay v mot bua and tu te, lot sai chep ming de noi bien, doi de my tap kung chua muon. Mot gay, hai gay troi qua, bao troi van zan, may van trang va ban tu lua min rang moi Thursday van on. And hung hey Thursday dat and hung veen gach muc nat du chong len now lean tuc trong 365 gay, roy 5 nam, 10 nam zem saw. Suc man qua su ton fa ise nui lon emoticon k vatan thit nuoi mang 10, lai kep qua su byongda. Lai kep qua su tich cucse nong ban len den 6 the qua and hung ku dung dao chui tukan, and hung lai kep qua su byong the se and tam dut ban veo quantai, dong din lai truak kai ban kip nan ra. Min de tat tho. Trong thuak fin de hom ne, tua si tu te mo xe4 6 doi quen doc hai dang gam nam tuong lai qua ban tung ga tung foot. Chung ta si lot sach lot mat na noi trang qua chung bangok nin qua hok ton nan va tu due mau lan qua and hung nuoi lam kin don tuk chien. DAC beat, he gim chat on mat qua ban veo mon hin cho den kai tua goi ten doi quen Thursday ba. Tua dam ka bang ca sin mang min rang 99% and hung nuoi dang zem video nai du dang din don chi mang o na itsai bay Thursday ba do. Va nu ban kong du ban linda sua no, moi no luke ho how kim tien he tang tien qua ban my chi la and hung loi moi mom rong tuch kong ko jia try. He chuan by tin and de doi dien voi fan tam toi not qua chin min di. V su that toi sap noi ra day chick chan se keen ban phi tim at day. To fully grasp how these invisible razor blades systematically slice through your potential, we must first examine the very first breath you take when the sun comes up. The first toxic microhabit destroying your life is the morning dopamine hijack. You open your eyes, and before your brain has even fully transitioned from the restorative delta waves of deep sleep into waking consciousness, your hand instinctively fumbles in the dark for that glowing rectangle of glass. You tell yourself a comforting, pathetic lie, you are just checking the time, quickly scanning the weather, or making sure there are no emergency emails from demanding clients. That is total garbage. You are not a dedicated professional staying on top of your game, you are a junkie desperately seeking your first chemical hit of the day. By opening social media, swiping through mindless short-form videos, or consuming cheap digital trash within the first 10 minutes of your morning, you are fundamentally rewiring your brain's reward circuitry for absolute failure. You are teaching your mind that pleasure and stimulation can be achieved without an ounce of effort, without a single drop of sweat, and without any meaningful creation. When you start your day by consuming instead of creating, you immediately surrender your cognitive sovereignty to algorithms designed by billionaires whose sole business model is to harvest your attention. I used to be chained to this exact ritual. I would wake up, grab my phone, and immediately let the chaotic energy of the outside world flood my fragile morning mind. Within minutes, I was bombarded by the fabricated, perfectly filtered successes of my competitors, the infuriating headlines of global news, and the endless demands of people who wanted a piece of my time. My mental bandwidth was completely maxed out before I had even brushed my teeth. I would crawl out of bed already feeling a profound sense of fatigue, entirely defeated by a war I didn't even realize I was fighting. This microhabit seems so incredibly harmless. What is 5 minutes of scrolling, right? But those 5 minutes hijack your baseline dopamine levels for the entire remaining 24 hours. It creates a horrific brain fog that makes deep, concentrated work feel like physical torture. When you sit down to write that business proposal, analyze that market data, or brainstorm a highly profitable campaign, your chemically depleted brain will scream in agony, begging for another cheap distraction because you have conditioned it to reject delayed gratification. You are literally bleeding out your most valuable asset, your creative focus, onto the pristine sheets of your bed, willingly handing over the steering wheel of your destiny to a piece of plastic and silicon. If you cannot conquer the first 10 minutes of your morning, you have absolutely zero right to complain about why you are losing in the marketplace. But surrendering the pristine clarity of your mornings is merely the tragic opening act for the disaster that unfolds when you finally sit down at your desk to work. The second insidious microhabit is the chronic, self-soothing addiction to the illusion of motion, disguised brilliantly as fake productivity. I used to be the undisputed reigning champion of this miserable game. I would sit in front of my expensive dual monitors for 14 grueling hours a day, typing furiously, organizing deeply complex and color-coded spreadsheets, answering hundreds of trivial emails within seconds of receiving them, and tweaking the aesthetic logo on my landing page for the 50th time. By midnight, my eyes were bloodshot, my lower back was throbbing with a dull ache, and I felt a twisted, martyr-like pride because I had hustled harder than anyone else I knew. But when the bitter end of the month arrived, my bank account was utterly stagnant, my audience hadn't grown, and my actual business hadn't moved a single centimeter forward. I was a hamster sprinting on a diamond-encrusted wheel, sweating profusely but going nowhere. This is the trap of choosing shallow motion over needle-moving action. We subconsciously gravitate toward these low-impact, highly administrative tasks because they are safe, predictable, and offer an immediate psychological payoff. Hitting send on an email gives you a tiny dopamine spike. Reorganizing your workspace makes you feel organized and in control. But deep down, in the quietest corners of your conscience, you know the terrifying truth. You are hiding. You are actively avoiding the brutal, intimidating tasks that actually generate revenue and force growth, like picking up the phone to close a cold prospect, writing that complex sales copy that could face public rejection, or completely restructuring a failing business model. Doing the hard things requires you to face the very real possibility of failure and inadequacy, so your brain protects your fragile ego by drowning you in busywork. You convince yourself that because you are exhausted, you are succeeding. Let me shatter that illusion for you right now. The market does not care about your exhaustion. The market does not care how many hours you stayed awake or how perfectly organized your digital calendar is. The market only rewards extreme, undeniable value creation. Every time you choose to spend 45 minutes debating a font color instead of launching the actual product, you are letting this micro-habit slowly suffocate your empire. You are confusing movement with progress, and in the ruthless arena of capitalism, that confusion is a terminal disease. Yet, as incredibly destructive as that fake productivity is, it completely and utterly pales in comparison to the venom of the third habit, the exact trap I warned you about at the very beginning, the one currently holding 99% of you in a chokehold. Here it is, the fatal blow, the daily micro-compromises of your own internal integrity. This is the silent assassin operating in the shadows. This is exactly where your grandiose dreams are taken out back and shot in the head. What does this actually look like in real time? It looks like setting your alarm for 5 a.m. with immense determination the night before, but when it rings in the cold, dark morning, you hit the snooze button just once, telling yourself you desperately need 5 more minutes. It looks like promising yourself you will make 50 cold outreach calls today, but you stop at 48 because you feel tired and 48 is basically 50 anyway. It looks like committing to a strict diet to regain your physical edge, but taking just one small bite of junk food because one bite won't kill me. On the surface, these seem like entirely meaningless, harmless concessions. Who cares about 2 missed calls or 5 extra minutes of sleep? I will tell you who cares, your subconscious mind. Every single time you make a promise to yourself and you break it, no matter how microscopic or trivial the stakes may seem, you are carving a deep groove into your psyche that says, my word means absolutely nothing. You are systematically training yourself to be a liar. And this is where the absolute horror of this habit manifests. Confidence, true, unshakable, earth-shattering confidence, is not achieved by shouting affirmations into a mirror or reading self-help books. Confidence is simply the undeniable reputation you have built with yourself. If you constantly break small promises to yourself in private, your subconscious mind stops trusting you. When you eventually try to step up to the plate to do something massive, like pitching $1 million investor, launching a high-stakes venture, or leading a massive team, you will feel a sickening sense of imposter syndrome paralyze your vocal cords. You will hesitate. You will radiate a subtle aura of self-doubt. And the marketplace, which operates on primal instincts, will smell that weakness on you like a shark smells a single drop of blood in the ocean. They will not trust you, because on a foundational level, you do not even trust yourself. I spent years wondering why my grand pitches kept falling flat, why my team wouldn't respect my leadership, and why I constantly felt like a fraud wearing an oversized suit. It was because I was an internal trader. I was negotiating with my own discipline every single day. If you do not ruthlessly eradicate this habit of self-bargaining, you will never build anything of lasting magnitude. You must guard your personal integrity with terrifying aggression, treating a broken promise to yourself as an act of high treason against your own future. Once your internal integrity is thoroughly fractured by those tiny broken promises, it becomes terrifyingly easy to let the final nail be violently driven into your coffin through the fourth habit, bankrupting your biological vessel. In the modern, ruthless arena of wealth creation, there is a highly toxic, universally celebrated dogma that sleep is an obstacle for the weak, that eating heavily processed instant noodles at 2 a.m. while staring blindly at a crypto chart is a heroic badge of honor, and that your physical health is merely a cheap currency meant to be entirely spent on the altar of financial success. I bought into this disgusting lie hook, line, and sinker. I treated my own body like a stolen rental car that I had taken full insurance out on, driving it relentlessly into the ground, pouring cheap, synthetic energy drinks down my throat to mask the exhaustion, and running entirely on a volatile cocktail of heavy caffeine and pure, unadulterated anxiety. I thought I was hacking the matrix. I thought I was outworking the competition by eliminating my biological needs. The reality was far more humiliating. I wasn't a relentless machine, I was a biological debt collector, and my own body was racking up interest at an astronomical rate. When you systematically deprive yourself of quality sleep, hydrate with garbage, and feed your cells dead, nutrient-void food, you are not grinding, you are rapidly decreasing your cognitive processing power.
If you want to change your life,
change the decision-making became highly emotional and erratic. My emotional intelligence flatlined, turning me into a volatile tyrant to work with. The creative brilliance that once defined my edge completely evaporated, replaced by a dull, persistent survival instinct. What is the point of violently clawing your way to the top of the financial mountain if you arrive in a wheelchair, reliant on blood pressure medication, or completely burnt out to the point where looking at your bank account brings no joy, only a hollow echo of the life you sacrificed to get there? You cannot build a billion-dollar empire on a biological foundation made of wet cardboard. Your physical vessel is the only vehicle you possess to navigate this brutal world and execute your vision. Disrespecting it through the microhabit of daily neglect is the ultimate form of entrepreneurial stupidity. The awakening for me was brutal, marked by hospital visits and a forced halt to everything I had built, watching my competitors effortlessly pass me by simply because they had the stamina I lacked. I realized that true high performance is not about how much abuse you can endure, but how meticulously you can maintain the weapon that is your mind and body. You must rebuild the foundation, brick by painful brick. Stop lying to yourself. Stop surrendering your mornings to the algorithm. Stop hiding in the comfortable trenches of fake work. Keep the damn promises you make to yourself, and treat your body like the elite instrument it was designed to be. The invisible razor blades are everywhere, and the bleeding stops the exact moment you decide to wake up and take brutal, absolute accountability for the microscopic details of your existence. Ultimately, the destruction of your ultimate potential does not arrive through massive, catastrophic failures, but rather through the insidious accumulation of these 4 toxic microhabits. You surrender your sovereignty the moment you wake up by letting algorithms dictate your dopamine levels, flooding your pristine morning mind with cheap digital noise. You then transition into your workday and deceive yourself with the illusion of motion, hiding behind comfortable, shallow, busy work to avoid the terrifying, needle-moving tasks that actually demand real courage and drive revenue. Worse still, you repeatedly fracture your own foundation through micro-compromises of integrity. Every snooze button pressed, every outreach call skipped, and every small promise broken subconsciously programs you to distrust your own word, breeding a crippling imposter syndrome that the marketplace instantly detects. Finally, you attempt to outwork these flaws by bankrupting your biological vessel, buying into the toxic hustle culture that trades deep sleep, nutrition, and physical stamina for burnout and chronic fatigue. Together, these invisible razor blades bleed out your ambition, leaving you exhausted, unfulfilled, and stagnant. True mastery demands that you stop bleeding and start taking brutal, absolute accountability for the microscopic details of your daily existence. You must conquer your mornings, focus strictly on high-impact actions, guard your internal integrity with terrifying aggression, and treat your physical body as the elite weapon it is meant to be. This is the only path to building an empire that lasts. True confidence and lasting success are not built through grand public gestures, but through the microscopic, invisible choices you make when absolutely no one is watching. Your greatest enemy is not your competition, the economy, or a lack of resources. It is the daily, silent negotiation with your own discipline. When you constantly break small promises to yourself, sacrifice your health for the illusion of hard work, and trade your focus for cheap dopamine, you commit treason against your own potential. The ultimate metric of a highly successful life is the unshakable reputation you build with your own subconscious mind. Reclaim the first hour, ban your phone from your bedroom. Spend the first 60 minutes of your day moving, planning, or working on your mindset, completely disconnected from digital consumption. Audit your productivity, identify the single most intimidating, high-impact task of your day and tackle it first. Stop hiding behind email replies, color coding, and endless meetings. Force progress, not motion. Establish a zero negotiation policy. Start making incredibly small promises to yourself, like getting out of bed the exact second your alarm rings, and guard them ruthlessly. Treat your word to yourself as unbreakable law to rebuild your internal confidence. Defend your biological asset. Treat 7 to 8 hours of quality sleep, proper hydration, and nutritious food as non-negotiable business requirements, not optional luxuries. Your cognitive edge depends entirely on the fuel you provide your physical vessel. Which of these 4 destructive micro-habits, the morning dopamine hijack, fake productivity, breaking small promises to yourself, or neglecting your physical health, do you struggle with the most right now? Please share your thoughts in the comments section below so we can discuss and learn from each other's experiences. If you found value in this video, please hit that subscribe button to support the channel and give us the motivation to bring you more impactful content like this.